Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online, and we have a pretty good week on our hands. But before we get into anything else about the week, I just got to say, make sure you guys are saving your money because we do have Black Friday discounts coming up very soon. On the 29th of November, they will be added into the game. They'll probably only last until December 1st. So keep that in mind. And then, of course, on December 10th, we have a new DLC coming to GTA Online. So Rockstar are going to be trying extra hard in the next couple of weeks to try to separate you from your money that you have with some really tempting discounts and things like that. But just do keep in mind that potentially with this new DLC, better stuff may come out. So, they're going to put some really good supercars on sale or whatever in the coming weeks here, but then they might release a supercar that's faster than whatever supercars they put on sale the week before into the game with the new DLC. So it might make what you're purchasing right now a little bit redundant. So just do keep that in mind, of course. Now, with that being said, starting off with the vehicle sitting here behind me, as I'm sure many of you will know, this is the Mammoth Hydra, and it is one of the vehicles that is discounted this week. It goes for regularly $4 million on Warstock Cash and Carry, and if you have the trade price, it's about $3 million, so this week it is 30% off. But anyway, we're going to touch on this a little bit more. I just wanted to show you guys what the plane is like. It does have vertical takeoff and land, or VTOL mode, as well as homing missiles, non-homing missiles, and a pretty good front explosive cannon on it as well, albeit it has been nerfed since the vehicle initially came out, so it is a lot worse than it used to be, but it's still a pretty good vehicle. But anyways, we're going to talk about this a little bit more later. We do have some bonus money activities going on in GTA this week, so we're just going to touch on those quickly. Completing the Cluck and Bell farm raid this week, you will receive a bonus $250,000. However, this does not count towards the community heist challenge that Rockstar have given us that is lasting until December 4th, which, by the way, we've got $8.7 trillion so far out of the $20 trillion target. So we got to try a little bit harder here if we want to get this. And of course, for completing this goal, we will get access to a exclusive vehicle with this DLC, I believe a little bit earlier, as well as some exclusive clothing and things like that as well. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of this for sure. But also on bonus money this week, we have the original heist finales. So that's going to be the Fleece job, the Prison Break, Series A funding, the Pacific Standard job, and the Humane Labs raid, of course. So those are all going to be double money and double RP, meaning they're going to pay pretty decently this week. You will need 4 players in order to complete those, which is unfortunate, but they are going to be giving bonus money, and for completing any of the heist finales, you will receive a bonus $100,000, which is pretty cool. Now, in addition to this, we also have double money and double RP on the auto shop contracts within the auto shop, so those are going to be paying pretty good money this week. About typically, I'd say 300 to 600k depending on the contract, and they only take 20 to 30, maybe 40 minutes if you're a little bit newer, so that's going to be a pretty good way to make money this week as well. Now, in addition to this, for you lower level players, we do have double money and double RP on the Hot Ring Circuit races, which is going to be a decent way to level up if you can manage to find some games with other players, so you can make a little bit of money and level up pretty quick by doing this. However, we also do have Running Back Remix on double money and double RP as well, and that's also going to be a pretty good way to earn some money, and it's also quite a lot of fun, so definitely consider trying this out as well. Moving into the discounts for the week, and starting off with property discounts, we have high-end apartments, and they are all going to be 40% off for the remainder of this week, including the Stilt apartments, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking to get more garage space, or you're looking for a high-end apartment to begin those original heists, this is going to be a good time to do either of those things or both. So if you're looking for apartments, good discount this week for sure. Now, on the Maze Bank Foreclosures website, auto shops are also discounted this week. They are only 30% off this week though, so a little bit worse of a discount than on the high-end apartments, but nonetheless, if you don't have an auto shop, now is a pretty good time to buy one. You buy an auto shop as well as upgrade it for 30% off as well, so getting the staff, things like that, the extra car lift, and personal quarters, all of that good stuff. That's all going to be 30% off. Now, if you're wondering what you should be getting in your auto shop, I would recommend the personal quarters, the car lift, Personal quarters is going to allow you to spawn in your auto shop. The car lift is going to allow for a second vehicle to come into your auto shop, which you can then customize and take to a customer to make some money. The staff are also an option where you can have them deliver the cars that you customize to your customers. They are a lot better than when they first came out. When they first came out, they were horrible. Nowadays, they're not too bad, so maybe get one staff member if you can, just to help you out a little bit with doing the customer car deliveries. There is also a glitch where you can send the car with a staff member and also deliver it yourself and kind of double dip on your money there a little bit. I don't think that's patched yet. Hopefully Rockstar doesn't patch that because I'm talking about it. I don't think that they will, but that is a pretty good way to earn a little bit of extra money as well, and you can kind of make a little bit of extra profit by having the staff members in place in that case. But yeah, those are the only two things that you really need, only three things I should say that you really need are the staff and the personal quarters and car lift. But most important honestly is the car lift, and then maybe the staff. Being able to spawn at the auto shop isn't too important, so that's like a good third thing to buy if you got the money for it, but I would just focus on the car lift and the staff members if that is something that interests you. On Legendary Motorsport, we have a few vehicles discounted this week. We have the Ubermacht Cypher as well as the Dinket Jester RR to get things started, both part of the Los Santos Tuners DLC. The Cypher and the Jester RR both have drift tuning modifications and are both in the sports category, but also the Los Santos Tuners subcategory. So these are raceable in the tuner class races, which is pretty cool. The Cypher is awesome, and so is the Jester. They both have great customization. They both handle pretty similarly, and they both have generally pretty similar performance. Out of the two, I would definitely say the Cypher is the better car. It's also the cheaper of the two as well. I think it's better looking, the customization's better in my opinion, and I really just think that it's just a superior car to the Jester, to be honest. I mean, just the front end of the Jester alone is like, God, it's pretty damn ugly, whereas the Cypher really does look good from like every single angle. It is an awesome car. Both of them are really good, so if either of them interest you, they are pretty cool cars to have for sure. With the discount, not too bad. On the value scale for sure, I mean, definitely not going to be the fastest sports cars, definitely not going to win you many races, but just as free mode vehicles, I think that they both are pretty decent, all things considered. Scrolling further down, we have the Grotti Vision discounted this week. It's a supercar, and overall it's not a very awesome supercar, but it could maybe be interesting to some of you. Overall, I'd say to avoid it. I think that just under 1.6 mil is like way too expensive for this car. The performance is not that great either, and the customization's kind of lackluster as well. Overall, I would say to avoid this vehicle. I don't think it's worth the money. And last but not least, on Legendary Motorsport, we also have the Lampadaddy Casco discounted this week by 30% off. No customization at all whatsoever. However, it is one of the best sounding cars in the game, so if exhaust sound means anything to you, you may want to consider purchasing the Casco because it does just sound really awesome. It's also just a good looking car. It doesn't really need much in the way of customization, but it would be nice if it did have some form of customization. That would definitely be preferred, I would say. But the Casco is still a pretty decent car-ish, sort of. I don't know, for 400k, it's kind of like cheap enough where you can't go wrong with buying it, but at the same time, don't go looking for any sort of performance or customization with it at all. I'm kind of on the fence about this one because I like how it sounds, I like how it looks, but driving-wise and everything like that, it's kind of underwhelming, to be honest. So do with that information what you will. And on Warstar Cash and Carry, we do have the Hydra. Like I said right at the start of the video, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Going for $2.1 million if you have the trade price. If you don't have the trade price, it's going to be going for what, like 2.7 probably, something in that neighborhood, which is not a bad price, all things considered, but definitely if you have the trade price, it is a lot more worth it. The Hydra has kind of been completely overshadowed by the F-160 Raju, I'm not going to lie. The Raju does almost everything better than the Hydra. Now granted, this week it is more than triple the price of the Hydra if you have the trade price, and more than double if you don't have the trade price for the Hydra. So the Hydra is still a pretty good jet. It is a Pegasus vehicle primarily, but you can put it into your hangar so it can become a personal aircraft. Unfortunately, the only customization that you will find with that is the ability to color the vehicle. Like you can see, my Hydra behind me is of course red, which obviously does not come stock in that color, but you can change that. Overall, the Hydra for like 2.1 mil, I do think it is a pretty solid vehicle, but I just really don't think it's worth it, especially if A, you already have a Raiju or a B-11 Strike Force, or really any other armed jet in GTA. I just don't think the Hydra is super worth it. And the other aspect of it as well is that, like, you should just save up and get what is truly the best, which is the Raiju. That's my honest opinion, and this is coming from somebody who absolutely adores the Hydra. I love this plane. It's been very loyal to me. It's been very good to me over the years, but unfortunately, it just does not really serve the purpose that it once did in GTA Online anymore. And especially with the cannon nerf as well and things like that, it's just kind of a shadow of what it really used to be. And overall, I just don't think it's worth buying this week, unfortunately, guys. And it does pain me to say that, but it is kind of the truth, I think. And within the casino, the Bravado Dorado is your podium vehicle for the week. Not the greatest vehicle ever, but it is free, so if you can win it, I mean, why not, I guess, right? And within the car meet, we have the Volcar Nebula Turbo available to be won this week, and in order to win this thing, you're gonna have to place first in LS Car Meet Series races for 2 days in a row. Not a terribly hard challenge if you have somebody to win trade with, and you do get a pretty decent car that does have access to the drift tuning modification for it, which is pretty cool. So overall, I would say this is a fairly easy challenge if you have a friend to work with, so you should probably try to win this thing. Now within the car meet, we have a few more removed vehicles, and these are all discounted as well by 30% off for the remainder of the week. Starting off on the left, we have the Ocelot Lynx. Regularly goes for $1,735,000, going for just over 1.2 million this week. Now, if you want a Lynx, if you're a fan of this car and you've had your eye on it for a while or whatever, it is removed and it's discounted this week. If you are going to buy a Lynx, now is the time to do it. You got to be aware though, the performance of this vehicle is not that awesome. The customization is okay as well, which is kind of nice, but overall it is not a very good car for the money. The value for money is not there, so unless you've had your eye on the Lynx or you really like how it looks, anything like that, I would avoid buying this thing. But if you do want it, now is definitely the best time to get it, and I don't honestly know when you're going to be able to get it again, so I would say to go for it right now. Next up, we got the Coil Brawler in the middle here. This thing is going for $500,000 this week. This thing sucks off-road. It has the worst brakes I've ever seen on a vehicle in GTA Online, or really anything ever. It sucks, and it's rear-wheel drive only, so it's really not that good off-road. It's not that good for climbing or anything like that. It does have some nice customization, not a lot, but some nice customization nonetheless. Overall, this vehicle for $500K, I would say do not buy it. That is my personal opinion. Take it for a test drive. If it interests you, consider going for it. But yeah, it's just not the best vehicle, especially for 500 grand. And of course, we have the Lampadati Furore GT, which is also discounted this week for $313,600. No customization for this vehicle whatsoever. However, it is kind of a cool looking one. For 300K, it's kind of like cheap enough where it's like, why not? But it doesn't really do anything that well in particular. So for most people, I'd say avoid it. But again, it is a removed vehicle, so if that has any merit to you, then you may want to consider picking it up. It is discounted. I mean, you kind of can't go wrong with buying it right now. If you were going to buy it at some point, now is definitely the time to do it. All right, and within Simeon's dealership, we got a bunch of removed vehicles, starting off with the overflawed Immorgan here on the left. This is one of the faster sports cars in the entire game, so that is something to keep in mind for sure, but it is going for just under $2.2 million, and for that price, you should just buy a Gradiatelli GTO and get one of the very fastest sports cars in the game. The Immorgan's also not that good looking. It does have a decent amount of customization, but nothing can really fix the overall ugly look of the vehicle, in my opinion. So I would say to avoid the Immorgan this week, unfortunately. The Cheburek is also available this week, and it is a pretty awesome vehicle. Customization wise, this thing's pretty sweet. For 165K, you can't go wrong, and it does have cardboard options for it, so you can put like cardboard front bumpers, side skirts, rear bumper, a wing made of cardboard. Like, it's pretty sweet in that regard. I would say to buy a Cheburek this week just as a meme, if nothing more. We also have the Dinka Enduro available this week as well. This bike is $48,000. For that price, like, why not? You could take a chance on it and it doesn't really matter too much. It's decent enough. I don't really know too much about bikes in GTA. I kind of avoid them like the plague, but the Enduro is a pretty cool one in my opinion, at least. We also have the Enis Cognoscenti. This is the long wheelbase version of the Cognoscenti 55, which is also right here beside it. I do believe that both of these vehicles are removed. Let's actually fact check that right quick. I was correct. They both are removed from the game. That means that the regular Cognoscenti is going for 254k and the 55, I want to say, goes for 255. Or no, 154. Not too bad. Both of these vehicles are pretty sweet. I do prefer the 55 myself. Neither of them have any sort of customization and they both wheel spin like crazy. But something cool about either of these cars is that when you are on the inside of them in first person, there's more sound deadening in these cars than there are in other cars in GTA. So if you want a luxurious feeling vehicle for driving around in first person, these are good options for you. Luxury autos is super lame. Yet again, we got the Declasse Yosemite 1500 on the left and the Albany Cavalcade XL on the right. Nothing exciting, nothing different, nothing unique or rare. Both of these are just available on the websites. No point in buying them, really. Within the Chop Shop this week, these are the vehicles that are available to be stolen. For completing the Podium robbery, you will get the Vapid Hustler. For completing the Duggan robbery, you will get the Fister Comet Safari. And of course, for completing the Cargo Ship robbery, you will get the Turismo Omaggio. Unfortunately, none of these vehicles are claimable, so not much going on here, really, that's that special. Alright, and for your time trials, your RC Bandito today is Construction Site 1, your junk energy for today is Sewer System, your regular time trial is Coast to Coast, and your HSW time trial starts down here at the Quartz Building and ends at the base of Mount Gordeau. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in GTA Online. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. Are you excited for the discounts? Are you excited for the DLC? I want to hear about it. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, dislike if you didn't, of course, and consider subscribing if you are new. A lot of you guys watch these, not a lot of you subscribe, so consider doing that for sure. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.